has already begun. So let's jump right into it here. Fnatic on going to be on Fnatic on PH going to be on blue side, Team Liquid ID on red side. 3 bans already going through. First phase done actually. So it's Matilda, Angela, and Alpha. A lot of sustain coming in from the side of Fnatic on PH. Maybe they have a rough idea of what Team Liquid ID want to do with Jushin, Hilda, Chip, atypical bans, but the Hilda has been on the up and rise. The Jushin makes a lot of sense here. That means first pick went over Fanny for Fnatic PH. Team Liquid ID Chofove, and then we finally get the Gatot as well as Lo Yi. So right off the bat, Fnatic on PH have got a really fast composition. Once they hit level 4, they're going to be able to basically move wherever they need to be, and they just have to play off of King Kong's Fanny timers when he needs energy and is forced to recall. From the opposite side, Team Liquid ID, I love the Cho pick, of course. Very strong opener for red side. Phoveus is the follow-up Moskov to make the assassins' jobs really difficult, and that way maybe you could split up the fight. Because Lo Yi generally wants to punish your team if they're clumping up too close together and kind of spread her markings around different players so that you can get a random yin-yang reaction in the middle of the fight, which heavily disrupts them. The Phoveus, I'm pretty sure that they're going to... I'm not 100% sure whether he's going to go Vengeance this time around, but in terms of the second ban phase, the Suyo is already really good. The Joy, get rid of low executions, get rid of high mobility, especially considering that your comp isn't mobile in the traditional way, more so macro-wise rather than micro, with the only exception being Fanny. Edith and as well as Harith kind of gives me the idea that they want to play... What really goes terribly? Probably not the Valentina. So instead they go into the Aurora. General way to kind of disengage from Fnatic on PH. It's not going to be easy though, right? I think the main condition for the Glacier is if she sees the AOG come down. Sorry, Guardian of the Avatar, the GOA coming in specifically from Gatot. Unless, in terms of marksmans, the Beatrix doesn't look too bad, but they need a little bit more catch. Gatot is technically a flex. Is there any better EXP laners? So they go for Glue. Glue does especially well into the Phoveus. Massive amounts of damage, and Phoveus doesn't really have an answer to the raw sustainability at level 1. Kelra goes... I mean, he can go anything here, right? He doesn't necessarily have to go Beatrix. He could have easily just like picked up Lunox if he wants to be extra, like another means of being really difficult to deal with the Cho. Could have gone with other picks too. Carry even would have been a decent option. Claude as the standard, but I think with Beatrix it's kind of interesting, right? Because it just means that Kelra, when he shows up, he needs to drop his ultimate immediately. If not, Team Liquid ID probably will have like a pretty decent response. I think that Fnatic on PH, they don't have like a traditional front to back like you would want it to be. I definitely think that Fnatic would like to go for these flanks, so they need Super Friends to be really stable in his positioning, if not really fast with his positioning to keep up with the divers.
Such a handsome
they go for the link for the side of Team Liquid ID. Okay, all right. So at least for Team Liquid ID, with Ling, you're going to be able to kind of keep up with the rest of the members with the Lo Yi TPs, the GOAs coming up from Gatot. Is it going to be enough though? I think mid-side, in terms of mid-side, I would say that it's a little bit more advantageous for Fnatic on PH, especially in the laning phase. But once we move past the laning phase and once we have like a more reliable way for Yehezkiel to one-shot that wave, I think that's where YD kind of calms down. It's going to be important that the early game is played well between both of these teams. So far, I like the idea coming up from TLID. However, after seeing Fnatic on it absolutely, fold JP Niners, I would imagine that TLID is going to be a little harder because they are more creative as a team, right? They go in and out of these fights, they take many different angles, and they make you really second guess yourself. Not in a sense of, oh, should I be doing this? More so, they're already in your face, you have to respond. And I think that Fnatic on it, if we've learned anything off of their best of 3 against Monster Vicious, I would say as long as they bring them to their level, That's what TLID will have to do to win this game. If not, I think it's going to lean very heavily towards Fnatic, Onyx, Philippines. Let's jump right into this game. Fnatic, Onyx, Philippines going to be on the blue side up against Team Liquid Indonesia. Champions versus champions in the best of 3, what everybody has been waiting for up until this moment. And now, funny enough, I would have imagined that Team Liquid ID would be the ones trying to give up Chip, for an example, right? We've seen a couple of teams actually try to do so. Hasn't worked out for them. And I think that Team Liquid ID is one of the very few teams who has made that successful to a certain degree in their own region. But then again, I think that RRQ, they were getting a little winded during that moment. YD, and as well as Yehezkiel, will fight for this mid lane, and this is what you want to see, right? YD is really going to struggle sticking his nose out in that lane, especially against the Loyi, and in case he messes up his Shunpo and gets locked down by Brusco, even for a fraction of a second, he's going to be taking so much damage. You see that at least Cho is not just focusing on the priority of that mid lane, but keeping eyes heavily on where King Kong is going to be moving. So remember the last time we talked about King Kong. What was his pathing? Double buff into opponent's Beetle, maybe gets a neutral objective, one of the smaller camps, whether it's Little Wanderer or with a River Crab, considering that he was on the bottom side at level 4. We're expecting him to go ham here. Doesn't find an angle. Aran able to pull back. No battle spells have been blown from either side. Fabian, as well as Aaron Shiki, going to take their time, but this is a really good setup from Aaron. This will start a freeze, and Kelra is forced to walk up. He might be able to get a trade, especially since he is going to be using Bennett, the grenade launcher, in case you guys aren't too sure what that is. Turtle is back up right now. Do they need to push him out? Kirk is going to start. He's already got priority. Mid lane has priority too. YD, he's going to need to keep eyes on where Brusco is. He's expecting to see King Kong on that purple buff. So Kirk and Super Prince are positioned for that top side. If they can punish Aran now, or at least get him to use his battle spell, at least he'll be more susceptible to dying. They don't mind because Kirk is playing glue. He can sustain through a majority of the damage. And even on bot side, despite everything that has happened up top, we're seeing that Kelra is not phased by it. He's just hard shoving the wave, looking for that reset timer. And now we do see that Aran is, oh my goodness, so close to actually picking off Kirk there. Was saved by Brusco. Spirit Destruction only lands on the Globules in the back. Tempest of Blade's going to be coming out from Fabian, looking for an opportunity to start first blood here. Jumps away just in time, and finally Super Prince, after having to use his Purify, melts under that pressure. That's what we were waiting for. Outranged and jumped upon by the assassins of TLID. That's going to be the first turtle falling into the hands of the Indonesians right now. Fnatic, Onyx, PH, don't worry. They're still in it to win it. They're not out of it just yet. A single first blood isn't the end of the world. And here comes their response. Yeah, Hezkiel gonna get targeted. Loses his passive. Pride of Ice gone. Brusco able, with the help of Super Friends, able to trade 1-for-1. Team Liquid ID still in the lead here, but at least Super Friends is able to bounce back from the initial damage. And Brusco, he's already past level 4, so dying at this point, not that big of a deal. Team Liquid ID, sadly for Yehezkiel, he's going to be real careful with the way that he starts walking up. Without his passive, he's not going to be able to be as brave as before, especially with his flicker coming back up in 62 seconds. That being said, Fabian, back towards the top side of the map, looking for anything. He's just hovering. I think he's trying to figure out where King Kong is positioned. The last time he saw him, he didn't have his purple buff. So he can only assume... Oh, wait, no. Towards topside, goes back to his orange. Doesn't see many opportunities to actually go for ganks at this point, and without much farm waiting for his own camps to spawn, King Kong is going to extend the EXP lead. Ooh, but we do see that Aaron Shiki is throwing the Spear of Destruction down bot side just to make sure that they can figure out where that Fanny is. And now they attack towards mid. Knockup is good. Brusco in a lot of trouble, but the split keeps him alive. Tempest of Blades forced out straight away. Brusco still holding strong. Aran? No, he's in range, right? He's got to be able to land that last auto attack. He needs it. Doesn't find it as Kelra gets zoned out from that wave, with Aaron Shiki not only winning the wave, but having a little bit of help from YD as well. This is going to put him in a pretty awkward spot. No flicker as well. If he loses in this recall, he's not going to get a timer to head back into base. As Fabian attacks the top side, Team Liquid ID increase the tempo. And now Fnatic Onyx, they just have to respond, right? Dealing with Fabian, they send They send King Kong to the top side, but they still have Iran nearby. They're splitting up into a 2-for-2 here. Whitey, he wants to do it again. I think he's thinking about finding Kelra, and Kelra not showing himself is great, but Iran is taking the punishment here. You cannot be trading against Glue for this long, and worse yet, especially with King Kong, he's not going for your traditional lethal ignition, instead going for the war cry to ensure that he can deal some serious damage, whether or not it's a short or a prolonged trade. They're gonna have to keep doing this, right? They're gonna have to keep this push and pull. But bottom side, wait, Fabian, there's 3 people already down here looking for this kill on towards Kelra's side, all because he doesn't have his flicker, manages to escape, and Brusco could not save the day, even with the revitalize. This turtle under risk. They weren't expecting to see Fabian on the bottom side. The kick goes through, the freeze as the follow-up, and a perfect combo from TLID, putting Fnatic Onic PH on the back foot and securing the turtle at the same time. Team Liquid ID right now are just holding Fnatic Onic PH back. So many decisions that they have to answer so fast and so very quickly. Fabian splitting up the map and creating an off-tempo play, and a solo kill coming in from Aaron Shiki. Oh my goodness. Making sure that Whitey's death wasn't for nothing. They continue this battle time and time again. Right now we're seeing Team Liquid ID force Fnatic Onic to really put in the gas in this engine right now, because it's not moving as fast as they want it to. It's not moving in the direction that they're wanting to even. Team Liquid ID just making sure that they are stress testing this supercomputer. And until we see the smoke coming out from Fnatic Onic PH, I don't think they're out just yet. But Team Liquid ID is making one hell of an argument. Down by top side. Oh, great kick from Whitey. Amazing play. Top side, Aaron Shiki and Whitey collapsing on King Kong, the only other member of Fnatic Onic PH who could turn this early mid-game around for them. But I think at this point, they just have to wait for late. Super Friends, not exactly in the best position possible as well. Is he a level down? No, doesn't look like he's a level down. He's definitely 2 assists down on Yehezkiel. Kelra finally with the first item purchase. That's gonna be some very relevant damage, but he isn't able to apply it on structures. You can see that Fnatic Onic definitely have pulled back a little bit. Spear Destruction does not connect. Yang reaction, it looks good. Skygami Avatar cuts off the backline, and now they just have to deal with Fabian, but instead they dive forward even further. Kelra all by himself chunks out Fabian just enough for Super Prince to find him. The great control over the backline here from both Kirk as well as Brusco. If Kirk can get out alive, this would technically be a positive trade for Fnatic Onic, and it looks like they want a little bit more as Kirk goes down. They're gonna have to trade one more time, but it doesn't look like King Kong can find it. And Ranchiki, he's strong, but he also knows that King Kong does not have the cutthroat. Mid-tier 1 collapses. 4.4k goal lead for Team Liquid ID. They've already poured gasoline on this fire. The question is whether they can burn the house down. Fnatic Onic are trying to slow it down. They're trying to trade 50-50. No matter what, they need to trade equally against Team Liquid until they can reach the late game so they can get Kelra back up to speed. At this point of time, 4 members, 5th one coming. Trying to hold on. King Kong goes for the steal, doesn't get it. Fabian is able to secure it. Now the front line in trouble. Way the Dragon committed. Oh, after the Sky Guardian as well. King Kong gets into the middle, but he gets knocked away by Aaron Shiki. Yehezkiel says absolutely not. And finally, we see the splash damage coming in from Super Prince. In effect, Aaron Shiki ends up getting blasted, trading 2 for 1 in favor of Team Liquid ID. But the fire hasn't stopped just yet. It has only just started with the Lord now spawning with minions as well. Fnatic Onic are not out of this, not out of the danger zone. Malefic gun purchase coming in from Kelra, so that confirms it. First item, Blade of Despair. Second item goes for the Malefic gun. With the extra range, hopefully it's enough because Fabian closes the distance extremely quick. Oh, King Kong, he's trying to get on out of there. At least dodges the third hit of G-Kundo. Still gets hit by the way of the Dragon, but has plenty of position. Looks to try and turn this around, actually. Dangerous even. But King Kong knows that with no Sky Piercer, there's no insta-kill potential coming up for the side of Team Liquid ID. They're going to take their time as they smother the bot side down, making sure that this Lord isn't able to take any structures. They've slowed down the mid wave. They just need to catch it to ensure the T2 stays alive. King Kong comes back to the top side, hoping that Team Liquid ID turns their eyes to the top and not the waves, and they have smothered successfully the very first Lord and its minion push of the game. Well done to Fnatic on P8. Really smart stuff. But now Team Liquid ID, as much as I would like to believe that they have already kind of set this burning house plan into motion, they need to find something else. And right now, Kelra, he's got 2 items. He's got the Malefic Gun on top of the BOD, and he also has the Flicker, which they need to break out of him again. Because he's not showing on the map as often as he did in the laning phase. He's walking with Super Friends. He has Brusco very close by, always within GOA range. Not to mention that we do see that Kirk, he's sticking his nose out further and further. Eventually, it's going to bite him back, but until Team Liquid respond to it, I think he's just going to keep on finding space. Aran, ooh, 2 levels ahead of it, actually. Don't know if it's actually worth his time. He's going to stick his nose even further. Fabian tries to go for the steal. Unfortunately, it is not going to go into the hands of King Kong. Loses out that purple buff at the cost of YD's Flicker. I don't know if it was worth it anymore. Yes, you are denying purple buff, but I think that YD's Flicker is a little more valuable in that case. It's not the end of the world yet. Team Liquid ID still can take their time. It just means that Aran has to be the main engager. Maybe even Yehezkill if he flickers forward with the Frigid Breath. That could be another option that they could play for. But so far, it's looking pretty grim. And Fnatic Onic doing a really good job with King Kong split pushing on his side. Now they've switched from dealing with Team Liquid ID's 2-2 to a 4-1. And I think this is a much better plan because they know that Team Liquid ID are gunning out for Kelra specifically. I think they need to change their sights though. Team Liquid ID, if they want to actually get this game further out, I think they might need to, force big ults. They need to force Brusco to the ult at the very least. Purple buff is only the start of the plan. Now Whitey in a little bit of trouble. Getting chain CC to the ground. Hasn't used the Shunpo just yet. Gets pulled backwards, tries, and gets blasted. The timing could not be better as Fabian, as well as the help of Aran, trying to disrupt that backline. Not getting enough damage on towards Kelra's side, though, but they got that flicker out, and that's all they could ask for. Super Friends goes for the flank, takes it, and now needs to hit Aaron Shiki, but Yehezkill takes the initial shot from Kelra. They call off that flank, and my god, that damage from Kelra is still pretty ridiculous. They're going to be... I don't know if Aaron should be taking away that purple buff, but it's better than giving it over to Fnatic Onic PH. Now that they've traded up, Fnatic Onic find the tempo breaker this time around against Team Liquid Indonesia. Yehezkill gets a pretty good stun. Does he find the kill? He does with the help of Ron. Waits his passive though, as King Kong is able to secure the Lord for themselves. They need to back away from this, but Super Friends says, no, I can't go any further than this. Gives away his shutdown gold, says whatever, take it. We're gonna have to wait a little bit longer until this game ends. The kick comes through from the side of Whitey. Fabian doesn't have his purple buff, has to force his way back. Now, equal footing. Gold lead from what used to be pretty wide for the side of Fnatic Onic in terms of deficit. Team Liquid ID now shrunk to a 2.7k lead. In terms of items, 3 items for the Ling, fully scaled up and ready to fight. However, King Kong, smartly enough, decides to go for a cost-efficient route. Fury Hammer, War Axe, Malefic Roar, but most importantly, decides to take an Anti-Cuirass for himself in case YD deals significant damage. More importantly, Aaron Shiki, and even Fabian, where he can get value in that singular item. Not to mention, he's got like a Blade of Heptases / aka Hunter Strike either or from the component of the Fury Hammer. Here comes GOA right underneath the turret, forced underneath, kicked underneath, and sent to the goalposts. Team Liquid ID respond perfectly. Wait, the TP gets them out just in time. Aaron Shiki wasn't expecting them to TP out of there. He's just so haphazardly using that knockback. King Kong able to get out of there in time, and Aaron Shiki instantly explode. Didn't even see where that shot came from Kelra with the help of that Malefic Gun. Oh, I don't think it would extend the range of the Ren. Actually, does it? Huh. Does it increase the range of the Render's apathy past the line? It probably doesn't. I would like to believe it doesn't, but at this point, I haven't tested it out. Another flicker out from Kelra's side as Super Friends gets kicked back on backwards. He knows he's done for, but Fabian still making it look easy. At this point, could he maybe go for a kill onto Kelra? Doesn't look like it. It's gonna get forced out by King Kong. Nevertheless, doesn't get the Bladed Tempest out. Kelra goes for the shot, doesn't land. They're gonna have to back away. A pretty bloody battle between Fnatic, Onic, PH, and Team Liquid ID. Right now, I have to admit, Team Liquid ID have much better defensive responses against Fnatic, Onic, PH, but Fnatic, Onic, PH have a great sense of timing. And I think that's what's really messing up Team Liquid ID right now. They can't seem to break Fnatic, Onic out of their tempo like how Fnatic, Onic broke out of theirs. I think that Team Liquid ID have missed their opportunity for a checkmate angle. Not even check at this point. 45-45 with a 10-18 scoreline. It is going to be a hard bout from this point onwards. Just gonna have to dance a little bit. Hopefully it's going... Okay. Looks like they're moving towards the bottom side. They want to zone off that Lord. Will topside end up being a slow push in favor of TLID? I think it will. That's that first minion, right? Yeah. Let's keep an eye on that top wave as we see the rest of Fnatic Onic just trying to control the space, trying to build it up. Yep. Looks like TLID have a top pushing wave, and now they're going to initiate the fight. GOA comes out pretty fast. The top quick in YD. He's trying his best, but honestly, trading for Kirk there, I'm not too sure. This hurts TLID significantly unless they find one more, and that's what they do. Fnatic, Onic, PH now pressing the lead, looking for Aaron Cheeky, and they get him. Super Prince, Eyes of the Emperor, sees all that this map has to offer. Aaron is the next to fall, and Fnatic, Onic surgically take out the members of TLID piece by piece. Devastating. First, they lost YD. Eventually, they lost Fabian. Next to fall, Aaron Shiki to close out this game. And Yehezkiel, he tries his best, even flickering in an off angle to try and take him out. Oh, he's so close. He ends up only trading one. YD, he can't die here. He's already cleared the wave. And with that sacrifice, we see Team Liquid ID still in it and forcing Fnatic, Onic, PH to TP the hell out of there. Oh boy. Oh, SOD isn't going to cancel any recalls. No, canceled recalls. Well done. Team Liquid ID still in it. Wow, I didn't really expect Yehezkiel to actually get that much value from the entirety of the wave, but it was good enough. It destroyed the tempo that they were looking for, killed off that wave, and ruined their timing. YD in a lot of trouble with Kirk on top of it, loses immortality. Lord falling over to Fabian. They should call this off, but nah, it's too late. Fabian, he used everything. He had nothing left. And this is only going to extend how long this game is actually going to progress. With a man down, Fnatic, Onic, PH will not stop. And they don't mind actually leaving that bottom side to slowly build up, just to make sure that they can stay on their side of the map. There's no need to invade if there is no reason to fight. And that's why you see Fnatic, Onic, they're opening up that bot side, catching that wave, denying that purple buff as well, and they're going to wait until Fabian is just about to spawn. They can bring it down low. Taking a tier 2 here isn't a bad idea, especially since they can do it from outside of its range. Yep, 3, 2, 1, and King Kong should be able to secure this purple buff without any issues at the maximum amount of time that purple buff will take to respawn. It's got to be really frustrating for Fabian, but it's fine. King Kong still poking back and forth. Right now, Team Liquid ID need a traditional front to back. They need Aaron Shiki in this fight. He has been dealing so much damage with the help of Aran as well. And I think that as long as Fnatic Onic just flick out the support systems, you know, take away YD, take away Yehezkiel's positioning, and then force Aran to jump too deeply into their back line. That's when you expect Fnatic Onic to actually pounce back. They're really good at this kiting, and I think that Team Liquid ID, they got to get a little brave, but at the same time understand that Fnatic Onic, they're dependent on the positioning of Super Friends and Kelra, and their jobs interchange fluidly between the two. They got to make a hard read here, as both teams holding on to their guns. Whoever makes that first move most likely is going to lose. You can see that even the assassins don't want to get involved. They want to come in very late. And Fabian obviously going to take his time with his wave down by the bot side as King Kong. He could try to open things up. Doesn't look like he wants to open things up, and at the very least showing presence in hopes that a response would come out from Team Liquid ID. Looking at the items, full build as expected. Oh, no Athena shield. So they only have one form of anti-heal as of right now from the side of Team Liquid ID, really doubling down on the damage that they could have, or in this case, how tanky they could truly become. But Iran, he doesn't mind. Even with the Malefic Roar, it still will take some time before they can take him out. He's got the immortality as well as they slowly scale back up. That top wave has been reset to neutral, and this purple buff, suddenly the most important thing on the map. Lord is about to spawn in about 10 seconds or so, and if King Kong can just deny Fabian this purple buff, it could be big. And Fabian had to commit the retribution. That should be a free Lord going over to the side of Fnatic Onyx unless Team Liquid ID are able to either drag out the fight or, more importantly, force a fight on to Fnatic Onyx PH at a disadvantage. Now, it's dangerous, really dangerous to split yourself up. As much as you want to see Fabian actually... Oh, no, he walks into all four, gets taunted, and an amazing call coming in from Fnatic Onyx PH as they want to drive the dagger deeper into the rune. Aaron Cheeky with the SOD as well, making sure that he's impossible to catch. Already used the Winds of Nature, finds one. Actually, Aran, he's holding all three of them back. They don't want to fight this. They don't want to go further. They don't have the peel necessary to keep King Kong off of Aaron Cheeky. He's going to be able to knock back Brusco, but Kirkin as well as Brusco, they're so tanky. With a full Trinity build, Aaron Cheeky requires so many auto attacks just to get through one of them. Not even the both of them, just one. And despite Kelra already dead, Team Liquid ID, they just have to back up here. Just wait. Look for that one big team fight. That's what they're looking for. And Fnatic Onyx PH, they just need a pick. And unfortunately, these picks have costed them as well. It jumps back and forth. Team Liquid ID looking to make sure that Fnatic Onyx don't recover tempo-wise in the early game, then come mid-game where we see Fnatic Onyx just control the wave beautifully. Now looking for that end-game angle. King Kong, he's going to press very aggressively into TLID because right now, TLID have no control over their waves, no control over when and where they can fight unless Fnatic Onyx PH opens themselves up. Here comes the TP to the top side of the map. I think it got spotted out. Not entirely sure whether Aaron or maybe even Iran did see the edge of that TP or walked into that bush. They're out of there though. In terms of the gold, Fabian as well as Aaron have been power farming very hungrily. Kelra just underneath them by 100 gold. Honestly, not too much gold. Especially towards Fabian. Like, he's only just 2,000 behind, which is not that bad. It's very easy to catch up, and more importantly so, it's already been 22 minutes. Late game is already here, and item swaps are the only use for currency at this point. That and potions, but half the time the potions don't really do too much unless you time them right. These fights have been dragging on, and more so... Oh, finally! Way the Dragon comes on through. Yin Yang overturn? No, doesn't look like it, but Whitey does get clipped by Bennett's Rage. Whitey has to get on out of there. Zaran, deep in, forced back by the glue. Tempest the Blades on towards that backline, but it takes way too much damage from Kelra. Kelra gets knocked up, takes out Aran as well. Backline getting attacked one more, and... there you have it, a 3 for 2 in favor of Fnatic Onyx PH with another one on the way, about to be a wipeout unless Aaron Shiki makes the play of his career. I don't see it happening because the endgame angle is obvious and we see Team Liquid ID and Fnatic PH gonna go straight for the inhibitors. But that minion is kind of low, so unless somebody tanks it, but then you're up against Aaron. I don't think it's worth it. Yep, and Fnatic Onyx PH, they also agree. It ain't worth risking right now. If we can win one fight, we can win many others. They're sending the TP out just in case, but they will be taking this last inhibitor before anything else. The closest person to spawn, oh my goodness, very close coming in from Aaron Shiki, forcing out to play against Super Prince, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day when you're up against King Kong, not to mention a Winter Truncheon. Fabian is up in 4, but he just gets to watch his crystal break on time here as Fnatic Onyx PH, one hell of a game, able to bounce back a good